Hey everybody, this is part 3 of the Everest build. So in this part I put the carburetor together and set the motor in just kind of temporarily just to see if I can hear it run before I continue on. So first up though, the carburetor. So I'm making some progress on the carburetor. I took it into the place where I work and on my lunch break I threw her in the carburetor soak and blew her out good, and the old carburetor wasn't that dirty anyway, but now I know she's good and clean. I also pressure tested the needle, and of course it's, wore and leaks, so I'll have to dig around in my parts and see if I have a better used one to put in it. I may have to buy a new one, but I don't want to do it right now. I'll try to get it running first. Got my pilot jet in there. As you can see, she's nice and clean. Number 35 pilot in it. That's what if you look it up, that's what the Fat 440 motor I have, and with this size carburetor, that's what the calls for, the stock jet numbers. Got my pilot, or my main jet, 290 main. A few other parts that I had to order somewhere else. My jet needle and the needle jet. Those again, proper numbers for that motor and carburetor. And in the same place I got those two parts. I got the fitting and the grommet for a gas tank, and the pickup, the weighted pickup for inside the gas tank. I got that stuff from this fella here. He's in Quebec, Canada. I'm just over from New Brunswick, so it's not far, and pretty quick shipping for me because I'm not that far. He's got a lot of parts for you skidoos, older ones. I don't know if he's got too much for parts for other brands, but I think he's got some stuff. Main thing is, one thing is he's got good kits, good quality kits for tillets and carbs, the old diaphragm carburetors from the older sleds. A lot of the older sleds used. And he's got good quality Bosch condensers and points, which, if you spend a lot of time on any old points condenser ignition sleds, you need good quality condensers and points in there. If you put cheap Chinese ones in it, you're gonna have problems. Been there, done that. So yeah, I'll leave the link to his Facebook group in the description, and I dropped his card on the floor. So yeah, just gotta put the carburetor all together and wash up the gas tank and put those parts in it, and maybe one step closer to having her run on her own. Beautiful. Okay, so now that the carburetor is taken care of, the next step is to set the motor down in and see if I can make it run. Now, I'm filming this now after the fact, because when I filmed it, I kind of had the radio going in my garage kind of loud, and a lot of that kind of came through in the video, and I didn't want YouTube trying to flag me for copyright, because you could hear the music playing in the background. So I'm kind of filming her this way, kind of putting those clips in and kind of talking about the clip before I put it up, so you kind of understand what's going on, because I kind of had to cut them down quite a bit to try to get most of the music out of it that I could. So here's the first start attempt. Let's see what will happen here. The motor's not bolted down either. One more hole here. Tried. Ooh, it's trying. Okay, so as you can see, she ran, but it had trouble getting it going. It kind of sounded like it was running on one cylinder. So I gave it a little bit of spray and got it to run, got to take off and run. But once I got it running a little bit and tried to adjust the idle down, sitting there down at idle, it didn't sound very good. It kind of sounded like I had one cylinder was a little weak, and sounded the same when I was trying to start it. It sounded like one cylinder wasn't really doing much. So the next step was to check to see if both cylinders were actually firing. Okay, so pulling off one plug wire, well, the engine was running and it didn't make any difference in how the engine ran. So that kind of tells me that the problem is with the cylinder on the side. And then it basically sounded like it wasn't firing at all. So I did check it. It did have spark on both cylinders, so that was all right. And I know from when I put the motor in, the motor looked okay on both cylinders a little bit. So I knew that was okay. So I got looking and thinking, and I found out the problem was this. And that's the pulse line that goes to your fuel pump, which I just had a gravity feed gas tank Jimmy rigged up, and I didn't have a fuel pump on it. And I forgot to plug off the pulse line, and that pulse line is on the side that wasn't running, because it's kind of more on one side than the other, so it's kind of more on the base just for that cylinder, so it was affecting that cylinder the most, and that's why it wasn't really running, because it was, you know, basically a big giant massive vacuum leak. It was just sucking air in and out. So I plugged that off and it started to run much better. Okay, so it is a running motor now. Now before I put the motor back in for the last time, I would like to clean and pull this back off here, clean and gap the points. I'm gonna get some bolts to actually bolt the coils on, so we're not sitting here loose. The bracket's right there. I just don't have any screws for it. So I'm gonna get some screws, bolt them on. Maybe clean up the wiring a little bit better, so at least the coils are wired up, not quite a mess. I'm not gonna worry too much about trying to figure out the lights yet or anything like that, obviously, because my hood doesn't even have a headlight in it. So the connector's nicely mounted, perfect. But yeah, I'll also pick the pull start up, as you noticed it doesn't retract all the way, and I don't know, catches pretty good. It seems to catch all the time, but it just doesn't retract very well. But I don't think it's gonna matter when you put it on. The actual where the pull start stops is gonna be, you know, way out here somewhere on the body. So I may not have to actually add any more tension, but I'll look at the rope, put more in if I have to, or a new piece or whatever. And yeah, we'll go from there. So this is, I guess, gonna be the end of the video. You know, comment if you know, if you want to. Hit the like button, you know, if you like the video. If you don't, that's cool too. You know, comment, say whatever, good, bad, whatever. Something, maybe. So yeah, thanks for watching.